Hi, I'm Lauren.
And I'm Matt.
And this is Publish and Prosper,
where publishing, e-commerce, and marketing collide.
Okay, so you want to get started with our very first episode?
Doing a social media post. Yes. Oh, are you recording?
Yes.
Okay.
But that's fine. You can also do your social media post.
Nope. I'll post later.
That's fair.
Be my guest.
I mean, hey, is it for your professional Instagram or your personal one?
It is for my Pensta and potentially LinkedIn. We'll see.
Okay. So it sounds like you're doing it for the cause. So
Indeed. Always for the cause.
Then I'll allow it. So we should probably get started and introduce ourselves and talk a little bit more about Publish and Prosper.
Yes, we should.
Do you want to get started or do you want me to go first?
Sure. I am Matt Briel. I am the VP of Marketing and Communications at Lulu. I've been with the company for about 7.5 years now.
I am Lauren Vassallo. I am the Content and Community Manager here at Lulu. I've been with the company for about 4.5 years, a little more, formerly as the Social Media Manager.
That's right. What brought you to Lulu?
That's a great question. I moved here from New York, and I thought that I was leaving publishing behind because, back in 2018, 2019, when I was moving, publishing was very much based out of New York City. And it was very much not a remote experience. So if you weren't living there, you weren't working in publishing, which is what my background is in. And so I chose to leave and I chose to move down to Raleigh. And the first job that I applied to and interviewed for was this self-publishing company called Lulu.com. And here I am.
Well, glad we got you.
Yeah, me too. What about you? You've been here longer than I have. You hired me. Thanks for that. What set that up?
So far, I stand by my decision to hire you.
That's very reassuring.
We'll see after about 10 episodes of this podcast.
Also fair.
I started out wanting to be in publishing. So I got a college degree in English, creative writing, literature. Very quickly found out that I did not want to be in the traditional publishing world. So did not for a while. When the opportunity came up to come and work for Lulu, when it was put in front of me, I jumped at it. So my background is in media sales, digital marketing. So for, the last almost 2 decades or so, that's what I've been doing. And what they were hiring for was, at the time, what they were calling a growth hacker, which basically was somebody who could come in and take a holistic look at the marketing efforts and find quicker, maybe low-cost ways to gain ground on a lot of the marketing efforts. And then I just kind of worked my way up from there. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm right there with you in terms of wanting to stay in an industry or come back to an industry that we feel passionate about. That was, for me, I thought that was a sacrifice I was making in leaving New York because I wasn't going to get to work in publishing anymore. So as soon as I found out that Lulu was a local company, I was like, oh, this has to be it.
Luck.
Very, very lucky and very grateful that it worked out the way that it did.
So clearly we're both passionate about books and publishing and reading and writing, although I don't write much at all. You write quite a bit. But what people may not know, if they don't know us, is that we're both equally as passionate about Disney culture, and specifically things like the Haunted Mansion and some of the other aspects of Disney. And while we won't spend a lot of time talking about that, if any, right now, what are some of the other things that you might be passionate about? And don't say Taylor Swift. Or do say Taylor Swift, whatever.
He says, looking me in the eye while I'm wearing a Taylor Swift sweatshirt. It's fine. There's a lot that I'm passionate about. Definitely Disney and all of the history and culture and I guess impact that it has on us as people. And I am going to Disney in 2 days. So that is the light at the end of the tunnel of this week right now. So I think it's unlikely that we'll get through a single episode of this podcast without bringing it up at some point.
Fair.
Or another. And yes, Taylor Swift. But beyond that, I am really passionate about books. I am really passionate about reading books and also collecting books, because those are very much different hobbies. And I'm just really like always invested in and interested in any kind of thing that is a creative or passion project. I love creativity in all its forms. I'm a big fan of music, not just Taylor Swift, but music in general. My whole family is very into like going to concerts, and I grew up in that kind of life and appreciating art and music and stuff like that. And I always love seeing like what other people are feeling creative and passionate about and what they're sharing. Like some of my favorite podcasts that I listen to, like I'll open up the new episode of the week and it'll be something that I have absolutely no idea what the subject is, or, possibly don't care about it, but I am excited to listen to a 2-hour long episode that is a deep dive into the Beach Boys, because why not? Like, because it's, even if it's just like a fun opportunity to hear somebody else talk about something that they care so much about for 2 hours. Like, cool, that's great. I'm going to learn something new today.
Well, I don't know about 2 hours on the Beach Boys, but I get where you're coming from. Yes.
What about a different band?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. So what about you, other than Disney and tattoos and books?
Yeah, the tattoos one, I didn't even say. You brought that up, so I'm gonna gloss right over that. But anybody out there that knows me knows what she's talking about. I grew up around a lot of small business owners. I grew up and had friends who started businesses, things like that. And one way or another, I was always either sort of tangentially involved, or just on the peripheral of these types of activities, and I grew to love that. But more importantly, what I really liked was being kind of at the genesis, the start of something, and that whole creative process that happens when you start talking about taking something from an idea to a business, or to something of that nature. That really just excited me, and always has, like all of my life. So I really enjoy doing those things. And ultimately, when they lead to something, a little more formal being created, like a business that goes on to be acquired or successful in one way or another, to me, that's very exciting. And then as I started to be able to adapt that to what I do here at Lulu, I found that it was very exciting to work with individual creators and authors as they, sort of take their content and try to turn that into a business, whether that's somebody who's just a fiction author who really wants to grow their catalog and their community and their revenue streams, or it's somebody who's creating nonfiction content for the purpose of their own business or brand or other businesses and wanting to take that to another level. To me, that's very exciting. And so fortunately, I think I'm in a very good position to take advantage of all of that. And I think that's what really helps me enjoy my day-to-day work at Lulu. So I'm very passionate about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's something really exciting and satisfying about getting to be a part of somebody's journey and seeing them succeed.
Yep.
Whether it's someone you're close to or someone professionally, or even yourself, like whatever the case may be. Like, it's always just, there's like that extra little level of like, oh, I've been here through this experience and I've seen this. And there was one time, like a year ago, I was in a bookstore in Charleston, South Carolina, and saw a Lulu book. Like one of our authors had their book on display in the bookstore, and it was an author that we've partnered with for something in the past, and a book that I've championed on our social media channels before, and was so excited to see it. Like, I had no idea. I just like wandered in and was like, oh my God, that's the book. That's great. That is so, and like, it was just such like an exciting moment to be like, this is awesome. I've seen this book like since it was published, and now to like walk into a like really cute little bookstore in the middle of Charleston and see it is awesome.
You get some of that success runoff, right?
Yeah.
Like, when the success hits them, a little bit of that runs off, and you get that feeling like I helped them do that. It feels really good. Or there's an old saying, it's like, you don't have to be the sunshine every day. You can be the mirror that reflects the rays of that sunshine.
Love that.
And I think we're mirrors. I think we do the best that we can to really help our authors and creators be more successful in their content business. And so I think, yeah, I agree with that. It's really exciting to watch that happen and be a part of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Of course, being passionate about what we do and the people that we work with is great, but it's also not the end all be all of something. We need more than just enthusiasm to have a successful podcast, a successful content creation, successful run as employees at Lulu.
That's true.
So, other than our passion for it, what do you think makes both of us kind of qualified to sit here and talk about self-publishing and the creator economy and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think we've touched on that a little bit already, but I think, again, for me, I've spent almost the last 2 decades, doing this, working in media and publishing, and specifically in marketing and sales and communications. And all of that culminates into, again, how I approach every day is taking that experience and what I've learned and what's worked and try to sort of tailor that to whoever I'm working with that day, or what audience we might be focusing on for the month, or if we are preparing to go to an event, how are we going to take this experience? How am I going to convey, some of these tactics or what's going on in the market right now, and really apply that to the audience that we're about to get in front of to help them take their content business to another level. And whether that's, they want to be able to successfully promote their back catalog of 30 romance novels and turn that into a more profitable revenue stream for them. Or, again, somebody who's publishing their first nonfiction book on, the benefits of using AI to write real estate blurbs. Either way, I'm excited to get in front of them, and I'm excited to bring, again, that experience with me. I think the most gratifying part is when you get to see some of the results like we talked about earlier, where, that's turned into a direct revenue stream for that creator, and they're able to skirt some of the traditional retail channels to market and really start capturing a true audience and building up that customer database on their own, and keeping all their profits and all the other great things that go along with it.
Yeah, I think that's all very fair.
So what about you?
Well, you mentioned going to events and stuff like that. And I think that both of us have spent a lot of our time here at Lulu kind of immersing ourselves in any opportunity to connect directly with the industry and with the creators that and the audiences that we're trying to, help and support. We go to a lot of events, Matt, more so than me, at least once a month. I think you're probably somewhere.
Yeah.
But we do go to a lot of events, and we spend a lot of time trying to connect directly with people and learn as much as possible. A lot of the events that we go to, whether they're publishing focused or creator economy focused or marketing focused, and whether we're there as vendors or as attendees, I think we really go and try to, absorb as much as we can and learn as much as we can. And we're constantly, I know I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly getting newsletters from all different types of industry experts, and attending webinars and watching video content on YouTube or even TikTok or whatever. Obviously when I was focusing on social media, those were a little bit more the resources that you need. But we've spent a lot of time presently immersing ourselves in this kind of content. And, we've both mentioned that we have the backgrounds in this kind of stuff too. I mentioned a little bit earlier that I worked in publishing when I was in New York. I worked for a publisher where I worked kind of directly with digital first authors. So I've had experience working with, not New York Times bestselling authors, but people that are kind of in that in-between phase where they're not self-published, but they're not the big name on a marquee for one of the big 6, or I guess big 5 now.
Yeah.
I also, before that, I worked at an indie bookstore where I had a lot of experience working with, the end result process of the sales and the economics of any kind of book sales or anything like that. But I also, as a part of that job, was the person that organized events for self-published authors that wanted to come in and have book signings. So I have all these little background experiences that have kind of all culminated in where I am now.
Yeah.
So a lot of different a lot of different opportunities and experiences to bring to the table.
A lot of different perspectives, I think, are really helpful there. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's one of the things that makes our team so, I don't want to say strong, but intelligent, maybe in general, is that we are all like bringing such different experience and perspectives to the table and doing everything that we can to share those with each other and with our audiences.
Yep. So what do you think are some of the things we're going to want to talk about over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 episodes?
Ooh, that's a great question.
I'm being very optimistic here too.
That's very fair. I just saw the next year of my life flash before my eyes. So let's see. I know that I want to talk more about in-person events. Mm-hmm. I think we've been to a lot and we have a lot more coming. And I, always get the question from people of like, are they worth it? Is it, what value do they add to it? Mm-hmm. Or to me and my experience, what can I get out of it? How do I make the most out of my time there? Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to talk about that.
I think we'll be talking about a number of things, but some of the other things I think we'll be excited to bring to this podcast are, further shedding light on self-publishing, why we think it's probably the best path for today's creators and what some of the benefits are, including the ability to sell direct to your customers and fans in a much easier way than you could 5 years ago, even 3 years ago. There's a really big trend right now of people dropping the term AI just to draw more eyes and more ears. But, I think we'll spend a sufficient amount of time breaking down, some of this and how helpful it can be for authors and creators, but also what are some of the pitfalls and the dangers and, maybe even some of the tools that you should and should not be using, and maybe even talk about some of the business behind AI, which I think we spend a lot of time looking at as well. And anything else that might bring some clarity on how to make more money from your books and build your business using books.
Yeah, for sure. We will probably spend a lot of time just answering the question in general of, can you actually make money selling books? And is this actually something that is, worth my time and effort and what I'm going to put into this?
Spoiler alert, you can make a lot of money from your books. You just got to know how to do it.
Absolutely, you can. And we'll also probably spend some time working to convince people that books are actually like an incredible tool for helping to grow your business or your brand or whatever you're trying to do. I know for a lot of people that we talk to at our creator and creator economy audiences are kind of like, really, a book? Like that's, so I always love getting to kind of see the light go off in people when they're like, oh yeah, actually I see how that could make a lot of sense for my particular brand. Like, you don't have to write the next great American novel to publish a book. There are plenty of really great opportunities to use a book to help grow your business. And I know we'll be talking more about that.
Yeah, on the flip side of that, there's been some recent studies done, and one of the more recent creator surveys that was done, when asked to list, some of the things that creators are using to make money and fund their businesses, books were in the top 3. Mm-hmm. So it was books, online courses, and something else I don't remember. But so, the awareness is there for some, and for others, hopefully we're bringing more of it to them.
I think it was consulting and coaching was the other one.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and if you think about it, both of those other 2 options are also great avenues to tie a book in as well. So realistically, there's a lot of opportunity in those top 3.
Did we just start episode 2?
Yeah. Yes, you did. Spoiler alert, Matt has jumped ahead in my outline to the next episode we'll be recording. It's fine. We're doing great. Anything else you think that you're excited to talk about in the near future?
Probably not. It's getting close to lunchtime, so you know how my body shuts down.
Do you want to talk about lunch?
No, not to these people.
Okay, that's fair. Well, that is Publish and Prosper. We're hoping to bring a lot of information, a lot of personality, in case you can't tell, and hopefully a lot of inspiration in our next few episodes and beyond that. And thanks for listening.
Thank you.
To learn more about this episode, check out the show notes on publishprosperpodcast.com. Publish and Prosper is brought to you by Lulu.com. To hear more episodes like this one, please like and subscribe wherever you listen. Thanks for tuning in.
much.